Edward, the 20th king, scaling the lowest on the list. This seems to be the common opinion with you guys, as I asked you on a poll and he came dead last with only 5% of the votes. Now don't shoot the messenger, because I for one love this man and his gentleman vibe. Plus the guy's drip was However, his feats when compared to everyone else on this list simply do not keep up. Whilst the others were all facing Wizard King level threats, he was left with daycare duty fighting amongst the rejects.
What did he say?
Okay, that's what society would say about them. But at ABD, we know the Black Bulls are actually the strongest squad of all. However, we also know for a fact that later on in the manga, people like Asta and scale 2,000 times higher than the likes of Magna and the others. That being said, Edward still has some pretty terrifying power. His ice wedge magic gives him the ability to change the temperature in an area to absolute zero. This is the coldest possible temperature, and as a result of this, the kinetic energy in the human body comes down to zero, whilst the atoms in an object stop moving entirely as they can't get any colder. Even light itself is brought to a complete standstill, as not even a black hole reaches the temperature of absolute zero. This is due to them being extremely hot on the outside due to the mass of the sun. Realistically, let's be honest, all of them should have died instantly, but this is fiction and I have my degree in anime bullshit science, which means despite all of this, the Black Clover world is clearly built different. Although lava itself freezes on impact, we see everyone else still moving, even if it's to their knees. This is despite most of them having their magic drained by Conrad and partially replenished via Charmy. So even if it's with some difficulty, they are still breathing. Therefore, it's hard to justify him being any higher on this list when he can't even incapacitate a team of Black Bulls led by a magicless Noelle. This is despite Edward having an infinite amount of mana due to the Imperial Sword. However, Edward does admit multiple times that he doesn't want to kill them, nor was he serious. But truly, if he was as strong as we think he should be, all of them should have been defeated much sooner. Therefore, if a weakened Black Bulls bested him, what would he do against Asta's anti-magic or Julius's time that can rewind everything? He clearly doesn't have any solutions, because a Noelle who is weaker than Varnica at this point, whom she lost to instantly, was able to defeat him once her magic returned thanks to Asta. Now, despite not falling for the Black Bull's plan, he did also get caught off guard by luck when he was kicked into it, which means his speed feats are not the best, as Luck, despite his magic, isn't even the fastest person in Black Clover. That title would actually go to Asta, or Lucius. Once Mana Zone is activated with his gigantic titan, we can say he gets somewhat serious. However, Noelle's Valkyrie armor in combination with Gauche is enough to win, matching his ice magic and destroying it instantly, which means even his defense isn't that great, giving more evidence that people like Varnica with 70% of Megecula would defeat him, as only a short time period later, Noelle gets even stronger according to the continuity, and she unlocks a new form. She receives similar help with the likes of Udine and the Heart Queen, but loses. So if she can defeat Edward, he clearly scaled lower than Varnica and lower than Asta, and as Noelle isn't stronger than them. Bringing us on to our next pick. Now you're probably wondering, how can Julius be so low on this list? ABD's lost his mind. Well, let me ask you this. What has he done? His feats are really low tier. Think about it for a moment. Yeah, exactly. Now, of course, with time magic, he can rapidly age you until you turn to dust, or trap you in an infinite time loop. He can even reverse injuries and spells. But despite being able to do all of this and peer into the future, he's weak in comparison to the others. Think about it. Let's go balls D. He purposefully lost to Patry whilst trying to capture him due to seeing the future of William being saved. We cannot even use the argument anymore that he was holding back. Julius lost to a Patry that wasn't even a dark elf yet, whom scaled even higher, was faster and stronger, yet was fatherized by Asta and by the end of the elf arc. Which means if Julius was actually as strong as he should be, trying to capture him in a time spell should have been quite easy, especially since Conrad is stronger than Patry, right? Well, if you take into consideration the significant distraction, that would make a great case. But we can clearly see Lucius Socrates taking over his body and his eyes changing to devil mode to do so, as Lucius was ensuring his plan would never fail. And funnily enough, Lucius states he will become the next Wizard King, taking Conrad's position, which is Lucius's whole dream of becoming the ultimate one. And unfortunately, we can't use Lucius as a baseline for his feats either, as he is much stronger and has even taken on Lucifero plus every other ranking devil. Furthermore, during the first fight with Conrad, Julius admits, and this is in his prime, they are not strong enough to take him down, and during the fight he was too slow to dodge his key magic being thrown at him. Yami saved him from a lightning strike that was going to hit him. Yeah, we can argue it was teamwork as they are part of the same squad, but how come Asta can solely face Conrad then? It is hard to estimate exactly how fast is in the movie, but what we can say for certain is that he was at the very least several times faster than Julius. If you can argue that, wait a second ABD, Julius, if he had infinite mana, wouldn't he be able to defeat Patry and others? Well, that's not exactly how time magic works either. Remember, it's from Astaroth, and time magic is stored when it's stolen from others. So he used all of his time magic against Patry to stop that country level threat that he utilized to kill everyone. It doesn't matter if Julius had unlimited mana or not. Therefore, the fact that Julius could not even catch Patry puts him well below in terms of speed, since he was able to fight a fully transformed Dark Elf Patry. Being able to dodge attacks that are confirmed by Asta to be many times faster than normal light magic, and him being able to keep up with it solidifies the fact that is simply faster than Julius. At this point, would be going multiple times faster than light, as Asta was already capable of doing so by chapter 55 and could go beyond the speed of captains like Sixcolion even before the time skip, as we could see from chapter 146. Now in Black Clover, increasing your magic means increasing your speed. So as the story goes on, these guys are getting faster and faster. Despite all of this, however, Base Jester is quite strong. In a 1v1 clash with whom at this point was an equal to Asta, it is stated he was pouring all of his magic into his attack. The two equaled each other out until Jester's barrier started to break. This is where he laughs it off like a crazy maniac and acknowledges as he starts to get serious. Keep in mind, at this point would scale stronger than Zagrid, whilst Licht and Lumiere also acknowledge his strength. Now to enjoy more peak fiction, watch this video on your screen right now.